Never take my sunshine away, sunshine away. Never take my sunshine away, sunshine away. Never take my sunshine away, sunshine away. Never take my.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to NXT with NaJee. You guys already know what it is. It is a part of the Whip Show, the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast, and also a part of bodyslam.net. I don't know why I added so much emphasis on the T, but here we are. What's going on, everybody? It's been a crazy week. This week, NXT was live in Houston. And it was also Booker T Appreciation Night, which is pretty cool. Last week, I got to be at NXT. That's why I didn't do an episode, because I just had way too much fun and really wanted to experience it with my friends like I have in the past without having to work. So call it lazy. I don't care. But this week, super stacked card. Super excited to talk about it. I am not by myself as per usual. This time, I'm super excited to bring my guest on because this person is also a huge fan of NXT, just like I am, completely locked in with the show, with the brand. He also hosts two separate podcasts. One is On the Mark, and the other one is the NXT Night Shift. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my good NXT brother in crime, Kyle. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, NaJee? Long time coming. Great to be here. It makes sense for two guys like us that absolutely love NXT to chat it up after that episode.
Yeah, dude, it was perfect. Like, I shot you that text once I saw the card and was like, dang, dude, we got blessed with a great one to talk about. It's
only fitting to have us two talk about one of the better shows this year in NXT. So it's nice to be here, man. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Yo, so if you can, real quick, before we jump into these matches, kind of give us a little origin story behind NXT for you and why you fell in love with it.
Man, it goes back all the way to the beginning. I was watching NXT when it was on Hulu. I remember when Adrian Neville won the tag titles with a guy's name that I don't even remember anymore. And then he had a moment with Corey Graves, of course, as well as tag champion. So I fell in love with NXT right off the bat because it was completely different than what I was used to seeing on the main roster because per usual, a lot of us start with the WWE main roster, and I was wanting to expand my wrestling coverage, so NXT seemed like the right fit. But like multiple people that have probably come on your show and talked about the Black and Gold brand, Black and Gold is what hooked me. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, I know your previous guests even mentioned that feud, but it was so good. And it's not just that. Bayley and Sasha Banks kind of starting the women's revolution with their match at TakeOver really ignited just NXT's love that I have, and that evolved into a show, and here we are talking about it every single week.
Yeah, I love it too, man. It's so crazy if you look at the roster now and what NXT really does for it at the main roster like level now. Like bringing Trick up, Javon, Oba, Jordan, they all immediately made such fast impacts, and that just goes to show you like the program works, 1000% works. Like even the generation before there. Yeah,
every single name basically on the main roster has had an NXT influence in the past.
And it's had a great run, or at least something that you remember of them in NXT. It's a beautiful thing. But
for sure,
like we said, we're going to jump right into the matches now, but we're going to start off real quick by saying what's up to Booker T. This show was actually live in Houston. Amazing tribute they did for him. Just great stuff, dude. He really is the voice and the heart and soul of NXT. So big shout out to Booker T.
Yeah, I don't understand the Booker T slander. And I'm not going to mention names on this show because they're not worth mentioning. But I think Booker T is one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining guy on commentary because I don't know about you, NaJee. When I'm listening to something, I don't want to hear the same formulaic, vanilla, cookie-cutter commentary.
Yeah.
Booker T shows personality, and he cares, and you can tell every single week.
Yeah, he's a heck of a coach, dude. Even like watching LFG and stuff like that, like he's the man. He's literally the man. He's got to be one of the greatest African American wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling. Like you got to bring his name up. That's why he's King Booker.
Definitely Mount Rushmore. I'm not going to deny that. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to jump right into the first match, which was a great way to start the show off. A triple threat for the women's NXT championship between Zarya, Sol Ruka, and JC Jane, obviously with Fatal Influence. Great match all the way around. You already know the number one thing people are talking about is the beef between Zaruka, and that was the focus of the match. Really, even it started off with the crowd chanting Zaruka, and you have JC just kind of sitting there like, "I'm here too."
It's like, isn't it crazy that sometimes JC Jane seems to be forgotten, even though she is just a staple of that women's division always?
Mm-hmm. She's the face. She's been there forever, man. But it's just like,
Crazy.
and I don't say that in a negative way either. Like she's helped grow that brand so much.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of what my co-host on the night shift called her. I think he called her like the kingpin of the kingpin of NXT women's division or something like that. And I was like, yeah, she pretty much is. Like she's the staple.
She's the Fisk.
There you go.
Wilson Fisk. But yeah, so basically this match, a lot of it revolved around Zarya and Soul kind of just trying to be at each other's neck. Commentary even brought it up a lot that they wondered if it would be a distraction for them in this match, and all in all, it really did, because thanks to some help from Fatal Influence and Zarya and Soul just not being able to focus on the title, JC ends up walking away, and still.
Yeah, what else is new? Yeah. Zarya and Soul can't get on the same page. They still are beefing. My only thing that I'm questioning here is that they've invested almost a year, I think, into the Saruka feud now. I felt like they needed that crowning moment with the title to really culminate this feud and really put the cherry on top at the end. Because realistically, what are Soul and Zarya then fighting for if they move on from the NXT Women's Championship at this point? Is it just a grudge match at this point? But you said it. The match itself was great. It was a hot start to NXT. And I think that we probably put 2 and 2 together knowing that when this match was on to kick off the show, that JC was probably going to retain her title.
Because her losing the belt wouldn't make sense, especially for Fallon having a match later on in the night, for her to just come out without a title. So it was a little predictable that JC would walk away. But now the question is, like, who is she going to face at Stand and Deliver? Like, did Soul and Zarya somehow pop themselves back into this situation? Does she wrestle somebody before and lose the title before? Like, who knows?
Who knows? But there's a long list of contenders in that women's division. They're very deep. It's the best women's division, I always say, in professional wrestling. But you know what name that comes to mind is Kendall Gray for me. I think Kendall Gray should be in line to step up. Or what about Fallon Henley getting an opportunity?
I swear they hinted at it, and we'll talk about it a little later once we get to that match, because they hinted at Fatal Influence potentially starting to split apart. But yeah, so Kendall Gray is a name. Lola Vice also popped up in a segment later on in the show and kind of talked her trash to Kendall, let her know she's going to have to fight, I guess. And if we're getting ready to go into a Kendall Gray and Lola Vice feud, I'm here for it.
That's going to be hard-hitting, real fight. Real girl graps right there for sure.
Yes. But all right, congratulations to JC Jane and still our NXT Women's Champion. Keep holding it down, lady. Keep holding it down.
She's awesome.
Yeah. All right, now match number 2. A little random. Like, I like it because it makes sense on paper, kind of. But you got Los Americanos against the Vanity Project, all 3 members. It's a 6-man tag.
Man.
So with this match, like, it was awesome. The back and forth was great. That's mainly what the match was a lot of back and forth, and then like showing the lucha skills that these 3 have, even though none of them are Hispanic.
Oh, wait. No, that's not true. No, that can't be true.
But it kind of rubs me a little weird, just because like they're supposed to be bad guys, but they're also good guys in AAA. But they're also going against the bad guys in NXT right now, so it was just a little confusing to even try to like get notes on this one.
That's a fair take on this match, because we were talking about that a little bit yesterday as well. That the Los Americanos, El Grande Americano, on Raw and SmackDown get really no reaction. The crowd doesn't seem to care on the main roster, but like you said, when they go to AAA and they show up in NXT, people love them, and I don't know how you can't love what they're doing right now. And I get it. It's not the best for Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Spoiler alert, those are the 2 behind those masks there in Los Americanos.
No.
Hate to break the 4th wall for you guys here, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. Like you said, it was a fun match, and I think that's what NXT does well, is like sometimes you don't have to have necessarily heel versus face for it to work. Sometimes we just need exciting action on a card that was already pretty loaded with 3 women's title matches, obviously.
Yeah, and it's basically like gimmick versus gimmick in this situation here. You got the pretty boys of the Vanity Project, then you got Los Americanos.
What's the vibe of the Vanity Project at
they're
down
great.
in?
So Well, I went to like the first few Evolve tapings. Like we saw them a lot, and we gave them so much shit.
I think
Like
I saw you on that. Yeah,
we started the swipe left chance. Like we did all of that stuff.
that's
Like
right.
it was a good time, and then they grew on us eventually. I want to say WrestleMania last year when I got to see them at the ID showcase. That's when I kind of really like I started enjoying them as people. I even got
Right.
Jackson Drake a water one time in mid match.
There you go. Look at
But-
you, water boy over here too.
Hey,
Add
I
it to
do
the
what I
resume.
can. I'm a man of the people.
Dude, they work so well though. The Vanity Project, they make everybody look good, and I think that's why they're the champions right now because it happened so quick. You just mentioned it. They were on Evolve for a couple months, and then they said, "All right, it's time. The NXT Tag Team division needs a serious heel team." And you get a serious heel faction with Jackson Drake now as well.
God, they're great, man. I know. Well, you guys are going to see this on Thursday, so I can say it. Congratulations to Aaron Rourke for winning the Evolve Championship tonight. I'm recording this
right.
on Wednesday, but it's happening.
They already put it on Twitter too, and it hasn't even aired on Tubi, so we got the spoiler before it's even live. So
Yep. Well,
it
all
is
right.
what it is.
So at the end of this one, thanks to the old headbutt with the metal plates, Vanity Project takes an L here, and Los Americanos get the W. So we shall see what happens with that, especially with the tag team tournament going on.
I was gonna
And
say,
we'll talk about that in a couple more matches as well. That's also kind of a interesting matchup there. But all right, so now we're gonna move on to the next match, which was a great match, one of the best speed matches I've seen in a while. Anytime Ren touches a speed match, it seems to be fantastic. But we have for the speed championship, the women's championship, Fallon Henley versus Ren Sinclair. Now, Fallon comes into this match with an injured shoulder from taking an F5 from Zarya during the match earlier. So that is like a big focus point for Ren. And Ren is such a technical genius, and it kind of makes more sense as to why her and Kendall are so good together. Because, good
Absolutely.
Lord, Ren graps too.
and it works for the speed style, doesn't it? Like having a submission style offense is really beneficial for the speed style. And like you said, it plays into the already story that they had there with Fallon Henley in the shoulder. Ren Sinclair is one of those talents, man. She just stands out to me. She's so charismatic. And I think every time she's on the screen, I can't help but smile. I don't know how to describe it. Like, she just makes me happy. And it was happy for her to get that moment in her home state.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So, like, to basically describe the match, Fallon was not letting off the gas for all of this match. And Ren was right there, rebuttaling with almost every single shot. She tried to get that wrench locked in so many different times, and Fallon was just not having it. Surprisingly, there was like very minimal interference or interactions with the rest of Fatal Influence this whole entire match, which was kind of good because that would have taken away. Yeah, shocking, but that was really good, especially in a speed match. So Ren finally locks in the final wrench and taps out Fallon Henley, and new women's speed champion.
I got a question for you. I know this is your show, but I'm curious. Do you enjoy the speed title on NXT? Do you think it's the right fit?
Yes, honestly,
I do too.
I think so, because with all the talent that you have there, it gives a lot of the undercard folks an opportunity to show that they can put together a match in a short amount of time. Because I feel like even though those are kind of easy matches to plan out, for me, I feel like that would be more complicating. Like, you got 3 minutes to go out there and be entertaining and then win. Like, figure it out.
You probably have to go through every single one of the motions just to get it right. So it's definitely going to be difficult. But Ren and Fallon, two great women for that speed title for sure.
Yeah, and that was great. Like, I'm so happy for Ren. I know that at the beginning of the year, everybody was saying that Shawn Michaels said that Ren Sinclair was going to have a big 2026. So I'm looking forward to it because, as you can see, the ball's already rolling, and we're on our way to stand and deliver with a new speed champion.
Only 3 months in, so she's got plenty of time to make more moves in NXT this year for sure.
Yeah, congratulations, Ren Sinclair. You truly do deserve this, dude. Like, you've worked your ass off. You worked through controversy. When you got to NXT, there was a lot of talk about, you coming there because of things in the past and different things like that. And truthfully, in the last 2 years, she has just become an incredible person. So shout out to Ren Sinclair. Shout out to Ren Sinclair. All right, we're going to jump into this match number 4, which was one of the tag team tournament matches with the Birthrights, a.k.a. Uriah and Stax, against Hank and Tank. This match is exactly what I think Birthright needed in order to make them, like, legit, because everybody's kind of in the air about it. Like, I see people that hate it. I see people that love the idea. I personally love it. Stax gave one of the most hilarious responses I've ever seen on Twitter to somebody asking why he was in Birthright. But for those that don't know, he is engaged to Ariana Grace, so that technically puts him in the family.
I mean, I don't have any argument against it. I say you're in, Stacks. Works for me.
Good job, brother. So yeah, good match, high energy. It really did favor Birthright a lot, and I'm curious as to what's going to happen with Hank and Tank. I mentioned on the show before, it's a flip of a coin with the crowd there for Hank and Tank.
I've noticed that.
But with Shiloh with them, that's genius. I'm still sticking to that. Like, I think
They
that
got
makes
something
so
there.
much sense. If you can somehow convert Hank and Tank to like weird psychopathic behavior like Shiloh,
Ooh.
that's a three-headed monster right there that I would like to see.
So that's interesting you bring that up, because I think that Hank and Tank would probably be better suited for the main roster now, since they've kind of already done everything in NXT. But pairing him with Shiloh would kind of rejuvenate them a little bit, because to be fair, we've seen the same Hank and Tank now for a couple years. They've gotten better in ring. Them going over to Noah, there's no denying that they improved in ring, but the Birthright winning just makes the most sense, because I'm with you. I love what they got there. It's simple to its core. They're second generation wrestlers. Some are third. Yeah. It's going to work. They get it.
Uriah's the first third since Randy, right?
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's crazy.
He's the first one. But he's great. Like, his music's fire. Like, everything about Uriah is amazing. He made my buddy's top 10 like a couple years ago, even when he was barely getting matches. So shout out to Uriah Connors.
I was going to say we could have had David Finlay in this faction too, but he decided to go elsewhere. But
yeah, did you see what Fitz said about that? He was like, looks like we know who my favorite son is, or something crazy like that.
Well, did you see what David said too? I mean, it's a fair point. He was like, I've made money with the dogs. I haven't made money with my brother and my dad. Fair.
But after a few dirty moves, of course, because, it's Birthright and they're the heels, they end up actually winning this match and moving on. I believe they are the number one contenders for the tag titles now.
I think they're doing some kind of tournament, aren't they?
That's what I believe, but I think it's something like that. It might have just been worded.
They're going to have that match at Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, of course. And they're probably going to walk out with that one. They really like Stacks at Stand and Deliver, because last year is when he turned on Tony. Now he's in a new faction, new family, and more than likely probably going to get tag gold out of it too.
That's another guy that you don't really realize has been there also for a little bit of time, because he was attached to the D'Angelo family. Yep. So he's probably been there for 3 or 4 years now or something like that.
Him and Charlie. They've been there for a while.
That's right. Yep. Charlie has been there too. OG.
This is their time. This is their time to shine. So we shall see what happens in this next chapter of the tag team part of NXT. But congratulations, Birthright. Now we're gonna move on to the main event. Great main event. This match was amazing. Like, it was so good. You have the NXT Women's North American Championship. You got Tatum Paxley still in her heated rivalry with Izzy Dane in a steel cage. That's the best part. Now, this match originally started off on the outside of the ring, and then they finally made their way into the cage. But I think that this was the match that probably saved Izzy. I don't have any issues with Izzy, but I think Izzy's one of those wrestlers to where she could be on the fence for getting released at some point in time. And I think that this was a match that basically said Izzy's not going anywhere, because she showed out. Both of them showed out. It was believable. The chemistry, obviously they've been working together for a very long time.
Yeah.
But wow, man, how do you feel about this match? I loved it.
So I'm with you. It's been going on for quite some time too, where I was like, okay, guys, we really need to finalize this feud right here. So it made sense having that steel cage stipulation attached to it, because usually that's the finality of a feud right there. You're right about Izzy Dane, because I wasn't too sure when she won the NXT title if she was quite ready for it. And that's not me saying she can't reach her potential eventually, because a lot of people it takes time to really find your groove in NXT. You're not going to find it overnight. But in this steel cage match, they actually weaponized the steel cage to their advantage, which is something that not a lot of people do in steel cage matches, which I appreciated that Izzy and Tatum were kind of just throwing each other's heads off of the steel cage while standing on the rope for a lot of the match. That was fine. And we got to see Tatum hit Whisper in the Wind, which was so cool. Izzy hit that superplex spot off the corner of the cage. My only gripe, NaJee, with steel cage matches is that you can't escape.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, I mean, that's how Drew won his title, though, was through escaping.
Right.
You know? But they did mention that during this match. They were like, there is no escaping for this version. You can't climb over the top and jump out. Like,
so
you have
what justifies the stipulation changing? Like, is only in NXT? Is that the rule?
I don't know. WWE does that with some weird things. Like, you know how when you used to get choked out or like slept, you used to get the 3 count with the
That's
hand.
right.
And
Yeah.
then, but every once in a while they'll do it still.
But
And
sometimes
then
they'll just ring
sometimes they'll
it.
just ring the bell.
Yeah,
I don't
like when
understand
Ren
that.
beat Fallon, obviously she couldn't tap, so she
She probably
told the
just
ring
yelled,
bell.
I think.
So that's a
I
little
think she-
different there. Bad comparison.
But yeah, great match all around. And still, congratulations to Tatum Paxley. I think that this is really good for her as well, because like her and Izzy were both two people that a lot of people did not see staying around much longer, especially after Javi got cut last
Dude.
year, and Javi's her husband.
Yeah.
So like, it's just really good to see her thrive. She has now won both the NXT Championship and the North American Championship very comfortably too. Like, and it just looks good on her. So
She's probably the most over right now in that women's
Yep.
division, you think?
I agree. Yeah, even from being there last week when she came out and just talked for a little bit, like the second that music hits, crowd goes crazy. People love her. Like
It's
love,
the
love her.
authenticity of her because they know like what you see on TV is kind of what Tatum Paxley probably is in real life. And people can relate to Tatum Paxley because she's the underdog. But
Yeah.
man, what happened after the match with Blake Monroe? Whew.
Oh man, I think I might have missed that. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay. So Blake Monroe comes from underneath the stage, grabs Tatum Paxley, brings her into HE double hockey sticks, and takes the title and just holds it up.
How did I
Dude.
miss that?
So I'll be honest with you, I missed it too because the Chicago area wasn't showing NXT last night. But I saw it on one of their clips that they sent out after the show. I'm gonna try to find it for you real quick, but if I can't on the fly, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find it. But it
You're
was
good,
a cool
bro. I'll
visual.
look it up afterwards. But man,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Heck yeah. Well, I love the dark Blake Monroe. That's the one that I think they should stick with at all times. Like I know they were trying to do the schizophrenic thing with Bailey for a second, and then it kind of just went away.
It wasn't working. It wasn't working.
Perfect for Blake. Truthfully, like for her to have that like sweet side and then have her dark side, like that one vignette she did where she was talking to herself. Great.
And it's like going back to her time when she was Mariah May in AEW, kind of a similar character, but with the Blake Monroe twist. And I think the WWE presentation really brings out more of Blake Monroe's like positives that she brings to the table because she's a megastar, man. She's going to take that title, I think, from Tatum Paxley at Stand
She
and
is
Deliver.
just wait, either that one or she might do the Stephanie and end up winning both of them things at the same time, which I would approve.
fire.
I'd be a-okay with it.
I'll give you my stamp of approval as well.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the recap section of the show. A fantastic card. I loved it. Such a great show for Houston to have. And shout out to Booker T again. This is the part of the show where I ask my guests 3 questions. The first one is always the same for everybody. Then the second 2 are just going to be NXT related. Why not? You know?
Heck yeah.
All right. So my first question is, what keeps you involved with wrestling? What keeps you in love with it? Is it the stories, characters, the drama? Like, what is it exactly that's kept you in love with professional wrestling?
So that's a great question. I would definitely say it's the stories because I am not a big movie guy. I don't know what it is. Some about movies, not for me. Maybe I can't sit there and pay attention to movies for that long. That might be the problem. But that was never my lane. So when I found wrestling in 2011, the storylines are really what hooked me. And the first storyline that comes to mind was CM Punk 2011, Money in the Bank versus John Cena.
I was there.
Dude, I almost bought tickets to that show.
Yeah,
Wow, we could have interacted. That would have been wild. But yeah, that right there, that story in itself was such a simple story to be told, but they executed it so perfectly that right there and then I was hooked to where now, and I say this all the time on my other shows, you can give me the best in-ring wrestling imaginable. You can give me those 5-star matches. I would rather watch something that has a story attached to it that may not be the best in-ring wrestling, but it relates to the story being told out there in the ring. That's why I love professional wrestling, because if you got a good story, you got me hooked for months, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, that's great. Hell yeah, great answer. Amazing.
Thank
so,
you.
number 2, what is your personal favorite NXT moment?
I think it has to be, and once again, this is going to be a popular answer, but when you saw the graphic pop up at the end, I think it was NXT TakeOver Chicago, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa at the top of the ramp. I thought that, the program was going to shut off because they ran the graphic, obviously, and then Tommaso Ciampa just turned around and threw Johnny Gargano into the LED lights. But a little caveat, a little bonus answer here for you. How about Dakota Kai turning on Tegan Nox at War Games in Chicago? I think that's an underrated moment, and maybe it was just because I was there in attendance for that show, but the atmosphere when Dakota Kai just left that cage and then turned around and kicked Tegan right in the face, man, that they had me hooked. And once again, it goes back to stories. The simplest stories with people that were once friends turn bitter enemies. It always works out. It seems to always be money.
It's great. I mean, you can recycle it and just reuse it all the time. It's a beautiful thing. We're watching it right now with Zarya and Soul, just like we just finished. I can't even think of the name. Izzy and Tatum. Same thing.
Well, do we know for sure? We can never be too sure.
For real. More than likely, she'll come out on Tuesday and be like, "Not yet. I'm not done."
I don't think we need that again.
Yeah. So final question here for you. With Stand and Deliver coming around the corner, there's a lot of speculation on who's going to main event it and what should be the main event. In your mind, what should be the main event for Stand and Deliver?
What should be the main event can't happen right now. Zarya versus Sol Ruca as champion. I thought Sol Ruca probably should have taken that title. Going back to what I said earlier, obviously with the story time that they've invested into these two. But you could have had Sol hold that title until Stand and Deliver, have Zarya get her crowning moment at Stand and Deliver by beating Sol Ruca, and then you call up Sol Ruca to the main roster. Because let's be honest, we saw it on Saturday night's main event. John Cena was handpicking people, and Sol Ruca was one of them. She is ready for the main roster. She is over like Rover. I think that should be the main event regardless of title, though. So if you're still asking me that question, it's going to be Zarya versus Sol, but without the title. But there's got to be some kind of stipulation, I think. So maybe do last woman standing. Yeah. That's probably the route I would go.
Zarya's got to win. She has to. I think so.
100%, because hasn't Sol been the one really coming out on top most of the time in this feud?
Yep. I think that Sol has maybe taken 1 or 2 spears, and I'm pretty sure Zarya's eaten at least 10 Soul Snatchers, even as like a team.
Sol, we love you. I'm wearing your shirt right now, but it's time for Zarya to get on top of that women's division.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm definitely Team Zarya on that one, and I feel her I love that her story is when's it going to be my turn? So I think that's perfect.
I think it's something we all can relate to as well. I always talk about comparisons, the thief of joy, but sometimes I'll look at other people that are doing content and try to compare myself to them, but you can't do that. Just stay in your own lane, man.
Yep, that's how I got to where I'm at now. No gimmicks, literally just me talking about wrestling. I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, brother. I appreciate you coming on the show, taking some time out of your day. This is now the part where you get to plug yourself in and let everybody who's listening and watching know where they can find you and support you.
Appreciate the time, dude. We definitely got to do this again. Maybe we'll get you on the night shift another time going forward, because we are live NXT Night Shift at 10 minutes after NXT every single week. We're different than most shows that talk wrestling. We're kind of a comedy wrestling show. We lean into the fact that people can interact with us. We'll pull up comments, and you can even call into our show live. Sure, that might cause some craziness at times, but that's why we love the night shift. But you could follow us along at NXT Night Shift on IG and on X. I'm also the host of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, as you can see behind me right there. That is live every Thursday. I've been doing that podcast now since 2019. And fun fact, I've been doing wrestling content creation since 2011. So it's been a long grind. I'm the founder of the Main Event Wrestling Network as well. So you can follow us there at mainevent_net.
Amazing, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, brother. I appreciate it. But yeah, until the next time, my friend, we shall catch you. Everybody say peace out, Kyle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my guest, Kyle, for being here. Great guy, great conversation. Please make sure you guys support him and check out his channels as much as you can. Yeah, you guys know what it is. It's we are part of bodyslam.net and also part of the Whip Show, Wrestling Heroes and Insiders podcast. I will catch you guys next week with another recap. We're just getting closer and closer to Stand and Deliver, y'all. I'm super excited. All right, that's all I got. See you.
Sunshine, no way. Never